Where it stops, no one knows. We're going head into the unknown. Na, 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 na.
Hello, 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 everybody. Happy Monday. I don't know, that's kind of like a conundrum. What is that? A conundrum. Is that right? No, that's not the right word.
I don't know. What's a conundrum?
No, when it's like an oxymoron. That's what I'm looking for.
Yes.
Happy
Because we're
Monday.
not happy.
Because, yeah, it's Monday. So welcome back to Criminality, or if this is your first time here, welcome to Criminality. We are continuing our coverage of the state of Indiana versus Richard Allen in reading the depositions that took place prior to his trial. And tonight we are finally on our last deposition with Trooper Ryan Winters. So I have the lovely Sleuthy Goosey here with me, who will be reading as Ryan Winters. And I, of course, am your all-encompassed attorney, not a real one. That's why it says, trust me, I'm almost a lawyer, because I'm not actually a lawyer. But I will be reading from the depositions as the attorneys, and I will do my best, as always, to tell you guys what attorney I am when I'm reading it. But to fill you guys in on what is going on coming up tomorrow, which I'm very excited about, is we are doing our Delphi Q&A. So you guys have questions, or you want refreshers, or you just want to know where things are located in the documents, or anything along those lines, Sleuthy and I will be here tomorrow, 4 p.m. Pacific, 5 Mountain, 6 Central, 7 Eastern. If you're across the pond, you have to do your own math. And we will have All Eyes. All Eyes is coming up with us, and we have Andrea Burkhart coming to answer any of the legal questions that you guys might have. Hopefully, maybe we can have R&M and Yellow Jacket if they aren't too busy. We haven't really timed that out yet. So as of right now, we've got All Eyes, Sleuthy, me, Andrea Burkhart to answer all of your questions on Delphi. We can go through documents. We'll go through, persons of interest. We'll go through the suspects that they were actually digging into. We'll go through maps. We'll go through whatever you guys want to go through. Basically, the all-encompassing Delphi and kitties. Of course, kitties. Why would we not have kitties, Grayspace? Of course we do. So, look forward to that. So, and then next week, I was planning on starting Courtney Clenny. Courtney Clenny's trial date has been postponed. So I will not be starting that. So I think I'm actually going to end up watching the first trial of Zach Adams in the Holly Bobo case.
Good idea.
I'll stream that entire trial, and then we'll stream, just like we did with Todd Mullis, we'll stream the entire trial, and then we'll stream the entire post-conviction hearings that are currently taking place right now. So we're going to start next week with old school, and it's not great audio, but we'll do our best with it, the old Holly Bobo trial, and go straight through and watch that entire thing along with the post-conviction relief hearings that are happening right now.
I saw a lot of people wanting to watch that first trial.
Right. I planned on doing it before the post-conviction continued, but of course I screwed that up. So, and then I have to get back with True Crime with Eve, and we are going to do a live discussing the Michael Vaughn case and the 2 arrests of the 4 people, of the four suspects in that case. We're going to do a live just discussing the case and the probable cause affidavits for those 2 that were arrested, for Stacy and Sarah Wandra.
I have a really important question.
Well, please feel free. What is it?
What did you eat for dinner last night? You don't fucking know? Was it pizza?
So
Did you order
no, so
pizza?
it was like no, you guys. Okay, so if anybody was watching last night, my husband was in charge of dinner, and because I said I'll cook dinner as soon as I'm done, but like this is what we're having. If you want something else, you got to end up like you're gonna have to go to the store and figure out what we're having. So he did. He went to the store. If you guys were here last night, you know what I'm talking about. So he got it was some like so bad. It was like a bacon ranch chicken pasta with
That don't sound bad.
broccoli.
I guess it don't sound bad. What is it though?
It was like I don't it was like noodles with huge chunks of broccoli, which I can't eat broccoli. I used to love broccoli, can't eat broccoli though. So I got very sick when I was pregnant on broccoli and I can't even smell
Oh
it.
yeah, ruined it for you.
Ruined it. And I love broccoli.
I'm
But
surprised he made it then.
well it's like food, so you don't have to like eat the broccoli. So I of course never touched that.
Mhm.
And it was just like so it was almost like a chicken Alfredo, but think the sauce being and the noodles were
Ranchy.
yeah, like more of a ranchy kind of flavor.
Hmm.
Yeah, so I ate about 3 bites of it, and then I went and got a double cheeseburger.
Was
I
it
did.
good?
It was so bad. I totally cheated on my diet. Whatever. It is what it is. I was like, I can't do it. It wasn't terrible, but it was just like one of those, like, you need to have something else, like, so you're not eating that same flavor, like,
Yeah.
repetitively. Yeah, I don't know
Yeah.
how that makes sense. So it was like you could have like 3 bites and it was okay, but if you tried to like eat the whole thing, like you were gonna be sick.
Yeah.
Let me just tell you that everybody in my household, so there's 5 of us, every one of us got something from the fast food place.
Even your husband.
Even my husband.
But it's okay, I guess.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, I would have been like, you ungrateful bastards. Every last one of you. I
He
cooked dinner and.
pretty much was kind of like that, but
Oh, but
it's
didn't
still.
want to eat it? He didn't want to eat it though.
He ate it. He ended up eating a lot of the chicken out of it instead of the rest of it. But yeah,
I feel like
I
that
don't
was
even
just
know.
out
I
of
don't even know how to
principle.
describe what it was. It just think chicken Alfredo, but the sauce being
Ranchy.
ranchy, bacony. I don't know. Like that's the best I got for you. I don't know what it's called. I have no idea. It wasn't a casserole. It was more like noodles.
Was it frozen? Was it a frozen meal that he made?
No,
He bought
no.
all the
Part of it was.
ingredients?
Part of it was. No, part of it was. Part of it was, and then he made the other part of the ingredients. So it was a mix.
Okay.
It was like you
No,
get
not
like a little
frozen
bag of
yet.
whatever, and then you add your noodles to it.
Okay. Like a hamburger helper? Chicken helper?
No. The broccoli and the chicken stuff was all frozen, and then you add your noodles.
Okay.
Yeah, don't ask. I don't know. I will never do it. I won't eat it again. So it
Well,
was not chicken carbonara because there was no actual chunks of bacon, and I cannot stand chicken carbonara, so I would not have even touched it. But it's not that sauce. It's a totally different sauce that I cannot tell you what it was.
frozen cheese sauce.
Yeah,
Frozen ranchy cheese sauce.
pretty much. So anyway, yeah, that's what happened with dinner last night. So as if you missed it already, I said we're going to be reading the deposition of Trooper Ryan Winters. Sleuthy will be reading as Ryan Winters. I will be reading as your all-encompassing attorney and let you know which attorney it is. So I don't think this is a very long deposition, but it is our last one, which is kind of exciting.
No, it's a shorty.
It's shorty. It's shorty.
It's
But then
only.
tomorrow.
Hold on. It's only 54 pages.
Oh, yeah, we should be knock this thing out. Okay.
But tomorrow will be a longer one.
Tomorrow. Tell your friends.
Carrie sent a list of questions.
She did.
We try to make sure we cover those. We'll have to try to think of like other questions. I know I've seen a lot of people like on Twitter, like newer people that have been asking questions too. Who?
Well, I think it'll be good because we can kind of break it down from like timeline of the beginning of like the 13th, 14th, 15th, like what was going on right then, and then like into like the main suspects of Ron Logan and Keegan Kline, and then how they come across Richard Allen, and then the trial or any court documents. And like I said, we can bring up the map and the Prezi and go over anything about the leaks that you guys want to, or anything like that. Like it's pretty much just going to be, I'm going to do my best to try to keep it like timeline wise, so that we're not like back and forth 100 times from like beginning to end. So like we'll try to do like the timeline of the 13th, 14th, 15th, first, and then like kind of hit the suspects. It's okay, Carrie. I'm going to read through them anyway. So thank you for sending them. I'll read through them and try to, if they're not in order, but yeah, don't worry about that. I'm just thankful that you even have all the questions. So, all right, let me share this with you guys and then we can get started.
I'm crampy.
So next week, plan on watching the old Holly Bobo Zach Adams trial. That's the intention.
That's exciting because you all were talking about that like forever ago, back when we still had group chats on Facebook.
Right. We don't have those anymore. Well, there is the Facebook chats, but they're just not as good as they used to be. I don't know how to fix it. I don't really know how they work. I wish they hadn't gotten rid of the old ones. I like those much better.
Oh, who dis? That's true. If you make a YouTube post, they can put questions in the comments.
True. Very true. I will do that. I will do that and tag the creators that are coming on, so that way it'll just be set up and ready to go. Plus, you guys will have the link for tomorrow.
Carrie, I didn't punch a baby.
She kicked one.
I kicked one.
Kicked a baby. Don't go. She's not like evil. She's not gonna go punching the baby. She just kicks it. Jeez.
It was just a love tap, like an out of the way tap.
Little nudge. Just a little nudge.
Yeah. I was like, I should have knew something was wrong, but it's like off schedule. Like I just went through this. So I wasn't expecting to be going through this again a week and a half later.
Yeah.
And, but I was like weighing myself and I'm like, where am I gaining? I'm like, where am I gaining 4 pounds at in a day? What is going on? Like, and I like barely eat. And I'm like, bitch, I know I did not gain 4 pounds in one day and barely ate. Like, if that's what's going on here, then I just need to starve myself forever because I can't even afford to eat a piece of bread if that's what's going to happen. It's my period.
Now the whole world knows, so don't fuck with her or you might get your baby kicked.
They actually say it's like normal. It's normal to, like, if I knew that this was coming, I wouldn't have weighed myself at all because I usually don't weigh myself when I have it because I know that can happen. Yeah, water pill probably is what I need because
that might help. Oh, my
yeah,
like light now. Commander Alpha Turkey, where in the hell have you been? I have missed you. I have missed you so much. I'm so glad that you have popped in. Thank you for popping in. It's been so long. What's up, Shibby Shibby? Hi, Heather. Hi, Keith.
I see people tried to change their. I've seen people try to change their screen names.
Yeah, at least it's somewhat better. I don't know why YouTube or whatever stream. I don't know what did it, but All
Wish they'd
Eyes.
stop it.
All Eyes is here late. We're just starting. So I was telling them about our Q&A tomorrow, though, All Eyes. So they're on board with that, and I'm going to put it up on the community wall. All right, so we're going to get started. You guys ready? We're going to bust out this last deposition and be done with that last batch of documents that we got. Are you ready? Okay, turning my camera off so I can be almost a lawyer. Peace. The deposition upon oral examination of Ryan Winters, a witness produced and sworn before me. Wait, this is the end of it. Am I at the wrong side of this? Why? That's not what I want to read.
Yeah, that's the end.
That's not right.
I thought you were at the beginning.
I was at the beginning. That's just not normally how they start them.
Oh,
Here we go. Ryan Winters, having been duly sworn to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth relating to said matter, was examined and testified as follows. I will currently be reading as Baldwin. So state your name and spell it for the record, please.
Ryan Winters, Winters.
Is your middle name Joseph?
First name is Joseph. I go by Ryan Winters. All my legal documents are Ryan.
I'm Andy Baldwin. It's good to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Name sounds familiar. Have we?
We may have run into each other at some point in time. I've been doing this a long time. How long have you been doing this?
Year 21.
Where are you from?
Originally, or do you mean work related?
Like high school.
Sullivan High School.
Oh, okay.
You know Sullivan?
Yeah. Is that in Vigo, Sullivan County?
Yeah, south of Vigo. Yeah, it's about 20 minutes south of Terre Haute.
I had a weirdo case out there in Sullivan. That's the county seat is, what's the county seat of Sullivan?
Sullivan.
It is Sullivan? I had a weirdo child molest case there many years ago. Is that where you're out of?
I'm in Putnamville, so Sullivan County is in the Putnamville district.
Just give me a little bit of your background. You're in year 21. Where did you go to college? If you went to college and all that good stuff.
I went to Sullivan High School and I graduated in 97. Went to ISU that same time frame, 4 years at ISU, worked at Jubal School for Boys, went to the Indiana Law Enforcement Academy in October of 2002, was appointed as an Indiana State Police probationary trooper in April of 2003, was assigned to the Lafayette District in 2003, and I worked interdiction in Lafayette until, I would say, during the time of this case, 2017, and transferred down to Putnamville District to work interdiction on 70. I went down there August of 2017, I believe, maybe, and I went to investigations in the fall of 2018 as a temporary duty assignment.
I think I read when I was doing background on you, you've gotten some awards. Did you get an award?
Yeah.
Chelsea
Yeah.
says y'all have read this one. We haven't read this one, Chelsea.
I swear to God, I was thinking the same exact thing. I think we have read this.
No fucking way.
I think this came out. Now let me look. Was it the
Well, I'm
first?
going back now. Like, how fucking long ago did we read it? And why the hell are we reading it again?
I think we just assumed it was different. Ryan Winters in my depositions log. Go to the top page.
Of this is the volume. This isn't
Yeah.
yours.
Oh,
Okay.
well, go to the beginning of it.
Of this volume?
Yeah. No. Just the
Of
deposition.
Depo.
Does it say Exhibit D? Defendant's Exhibit D?
Well, fuck, I don't know. This whole awards thing sounds very familiar to me.
It does.
If we read this a long time ago, I'm going to be really pissed that that we have this whole setup and we didn't realize this.
Is the depo from August 23rd, 2023 at 10:30 a.m.?
Yes.
Motherfucker, we read this
When?
a long time ago, I guess, because it's in my deposition folder and not my new folder. You read it when you read Nicole. We did when we read Nicole. It did come out in the first round of thingy
Well, nobody
majiggies.
bothered to mention this up until we already are live with reading it again.
I think I forgot. Okay. But I think until we started, like when we started reading and then we got to the part about Sullivan being in Sullivan or whatever, I was like, this feels really familiar.
No wonder I have so many fucking pictures of this dude. I didn't realize it until the only thing that sounded familiar was him talking about awards. But I was like, shit, I don't know. Maybe he's asked that 100 times.
I thought it was maybe another deposition they did with him.
No.
Well, now what?
I don't know. What a waste.
What do we do? What haven't we read?
What a waste. Getting rid of this shit. Not reading it again.
You weren't even that interesting the first time around, Mr. Winters.
That's probably why we don't fucking remember it.
That's exactly why we don't remember it. You know, the only one we have not read is, I don't remember his name. Let me get it. Eric Warren. Boring Warren.
We
The gun guy.
Oh God.
That's the only one we've not read.
I don't even know where that is in my folder anymore.
I mean, I'm looking right at it, but it was so boring. I mean, it's the same length. It's 70. It says 73, but no, it's about every bit of 73 pages. But it was so boring. I didn't even like read it
I
to
know.
myself
We purposely made the decision not to read that one
because it was boring.
It was so bad. But obviously, Winters is really bad. Yes, get a list of legal questions together. There's new Meehan filings. Well, yeah, I mean, I've got some time to kill now. I guess we just do whatever the hell we want to do.
What do you want to do?
I don't know. I did not have a
Well, now
backup.
that I don't have to read, I can like leave my house. I want a dessert. What kind of dessert should I get?
Read it again with a new accent.
We could do it like with a British accent.
Fuck no.
We have to prepare for the sidebar transcripts. How we need to be doing Boston accents. We need to be practicing those.
Or Boston, Boston,
Yeah.
like Boston.
Is it that or is it Boston?
It's Baston. No, that
I don't
sounds more
know.
Midwest, like Baston. I don't know. I can ask my son. He sounds like he's from Boston.
Yeah,
He doesn't say his. Like we used to tell people to go park the car because that's how you'd say. Go park the car.
Okay, so if it's B-O and not B-A, then it can't be Baston.
Baston. Okay. I don't have the new Meehan filings though, so you guys want me to read those, but I don't even have them.
Who's that account that posts them?
Do you sound like you're from London?
I think we could do that.
I think we could make that happen. Oh, Luna, don't you even worry about it. We're all late to the game today because apparently we read months ago. We read the transcript however fucking long ago that we've already read it, and we now I have no plan. You just open the fucking panel and just see what happens.
Oh my God. It's been a long time since you've done an open one.
I know. You guys want an open panel? You want to come up and talk shit? I'll do it. I mean, we've got a little while. You're gonna have to change you though, because you can't be Ryan Winters. I read the new Meehan filings earlier today. Well, if somebody wants to send them to me, feel free. I'd be happy to look at them. I just now have to remove this entire reason for this live.
God
This
damn
has
it.
never happened before. I don't even know. I feel like I'm like flustered. I don't even know what to do.
This has never happened before in your lifetime.
That I've just come on here and had like no idea what the fuck I'm talking about. Yeah, I've never done that. I normally am pretty good that I think I remember the shit that I've talked about, but apparently I don't. We can throw an open panel if you want to. We'll do it. I don't know if anybody's going to take us up on it, but
We got to put a time limit on this, though.
I don't even know if anybody will come up.
Okay, if people come up, we got to put a time limit on it. Not on people, but I'm saying on the whole shebang.
Oh God, yeah. No, I still have to cook dinner tonight because I can't leave that up to them again. I can't. I can't trust it. The
Of course,
update on the AI
question.
readings is I do have a new batch that I was going to release at the beginning of the week, and I just didn't. So hopefully, maybe by the beginning of next week, I'll have them all out. Just a new batch that's definitely not done.
All the recordings are done, but like it's a lot to put them to video because she was like lining up the exhibits, and now we have more exhibits. So like,
Somebody said let's look at the exhibits, like the Delphi exhibits. I can pull those up. I had them up very recently.
hold do you have listen? Instead of going through the volumes, do you have the folder that I sent you? That's a no.
Somewhere? I'm sure I do. I could just go into my Google Drive and it'll be shared with me.
There, I sent it again.
Smart ass. Why? What are you trying to get me to find in there?
Oh, nothing. I just, because they're separated by exhibit. So
I don't know. Maybe I just start a whole new thing and we just do Karen Reed. And I can just do the damn read through of the civil complaint that I wanted to do last week and I never did.
oh, yeah, you could do that.
Oh, shit.
Oh, God. Cheer up. Cheer up. It could be worse. It could be way worse. At least you have all your digits.
That's true. It's a true story. Just rename the description to Karen Reed. I totally can.
I don't know all the YouTube rules.
I can change it all. I can change the thumbnail. I can change the whole thing. I can even cut out this whole embarrassing fact that I read a document that I've already read.
No, we don't need to do that.
I can. There's Travis. Hi, Trav. Good time.
Hey, Travis.
Good time to pop up. He's muted. Okay, so chat. You guys want to talk more Delphi, or do you want to flip over to Karen Reed and read the civil suit? Or do you want me in? What you want?
That's a curveball.
Right, I know, Travis. Such a curveball.
I just came in to say hello.
Hi. Haven't talked to you forever.
You guys all ready for Thursday?
I don't do anything. Like I don't have to make anything. I just drive. So yeah, I'm good to go.
I gotta drive too.
Yeah. I just Venmo my brother some money and like here's my contribution to
dinner.
And thanks for having us.
Wow, what an organized family. That's amazing.
So makes it way
like,
easy.
Do you do Christmas or something, or Easter, or 4th of July?
My grandpa died. When my grandpa died, we like stopped caring as much. Like people were really only coming together for dinner because of him. So I don't know what my mom's gonna try to do. I hope she don't try to make nothing fancy that's gross, like Teresa's husband.
How's not going?
Oh, so the other question I had was, where'd you get the double cheeseburger from last night?
Oh, I just got a double cheeseburger from McDonald's. No. Can't feed the family at In-N-Out. There's only three of the five of us that like it. The other two don't.
Okay, can I ask my question, please?
Yes, and then I want to read the Meehan docs. And Chelsea popped up too. She has something she wants to say.
Okay, so my question was, and I don't know how much you heard about me talking about the sketches. We've all seen the old bridge guy sketch, the young bridge guy sketch, the creepy, scraggly looking dude sketch. I don't know if everyone has seen the other kind of similar looking young bridge guy sketch, who I'm inclined to believe is Tara German's girlfriend. I can't remember her name.
Amanda, her wife.
Amanda,
I'm gonna get off here.
yes.
People are already
Amanda
attacking the
Duvall.
chat, so I'm just gonna hop off here.
Okay, well, it was nice having you, Hunting. Thank you
Oh,
for
here
coming
it
up. And I agree. Bygones, bygones. I'm good with that too.
Okay, so listen to me. God damn. I think it's Amanda, okay? But
Yeah.
hypothetically, if there's another sketch, a sketch done by Daniel Pearson, okay, that doesn't look like the rest of them, but is like, has like the facial hair like Old Bridge guy and the hat like Old Bridge guy, but a different face. What would everybody's thoughts be about that? Do you think it's likely that Daniel Pearson actually saw the real Bridge guy, or you think he was just bullshitting through his sketch? Hypothetically.
Well, I'm of the belief that I think Daniel Pearson probably did see Bridge Guy. And I
So
would
that would
like
make sense if he looked different than the rest of them.
we don't have Daniel Pearson's sketch.
Yeah, it's hypothetical.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, I think that's I think that would be a very interesting one to actually see. So, okay, so we have a couple people that joined. Chelsea, what's up?
What up, Chelsea?
Hi. Can you hear me okay?
I can. Perfect.
Perfectly.
Awesome. No, I was just going to ask if you all could fill me in on what is going on with Shane Meehan. So perfect segue because I have no idea. So I just wanted to hear what all these documents said.
Perfect. Thank you. Okay. Yeah,
I do too.
You can stay up or you can hop down, whatever you want to do, but I'm definitely gonna read through those.
You're going to read it to me, but does everybody know who Shane Meehan is?
Not yet.
Oh, okay. You're going to tell them?
Yeah. So Department of Building Code. Not sure who that is, but welcome.
The Unified Development Code 19.00.
I know that voice.
Director of Planning. For the purposes of this title, the term director means the director of the Department of Community Development. The director is hereby designated as the secretary of the Planning Commission, except for, whereas otherwise specified, the director is responsible for the administrative enforcement of this title. Part 1, accept and process applications under this title. Part 2, organize and maintain records associated with those applications.
What is happening? He does have such a soothing voice, but what are we reading?
I have absolutely missed that voice. I have not heard that voice in so long.
Uh-huh.
Section 3, conduct the necessary review of maps and development documentation, which has been submitted under this title.
I mean, he could just read me to sleep.
I know, right?
See, they don't even care what you're reading. They're like, keep reading.
Legit just start reading every document and just that's it. And I'm just like, okay, here, I'll just sit here and listen.
We should have clone DB's voice for the trial transcripts.
I want to add DB's voice for trial transcripts in the AI. Please press.
Oh, we're not paying for that anymore.
Verify compliance with all subdivision zoning and development requirements. Take action, approve, deny, or otherwise act upon applications in accordance with revisions of this title.
No idea. Okay. I need to know, is it only these two documents for Meehan? Can somebody tell me that? All eyes, hopefully you can because it's from your GitHub. Okay, Sleuthy, do you want to tell the chat who Shane Meehan is?
Yes. So Shane Meehan used to be a guard for the federal prisons? He was a federal prison guard in Indiana. And actually, he ran for mayor too. And one day, he lost it and went to the federal building and was it Terre Haute? I think so. No, we don't have any evidence that he was Odinist. There was one there was one like tattoo. I don't know. It looked like a Pinterest, but it wasn't a Pinterest. And it had a
Right.
tattoo of those 3 triangle symbol thingies that like the prison guards had. Anyway, people thought that the person's name was Shane Meehan, and so
Right.
people thought that that was the Shane Meehan, and it's not. It wasn't. 100% it was not. It's a totally different dude named Shane Meehan. But
I cannot
regardless,
find anywhere that actually connects Shane Meehan to being an Odinist outside of this other Shane Meehan, who we can prove was not the right one, and that
correct.
Shane Meehan is an Odinist or Norse paganist or whatever part of that religion you want to say that he follows, but it's not the same Shane Meehan that killed Greg Ferency. So
Correct.
if anybody believes that
Well, I didn't
that
even get there yet.
okay, I would just say if anybody does believe that this Shane Meehan is an Odinist, please send me the proof, because I have dug, Sleuthy has dug. We've never found anything to actually
Besides that,
substantiate that. So it's the wrong Meehan.
right. So one day he decided to go to the federal building in Terre Haute, and he had like a bunch of guns on him and Molotov cocktails. And he threw a Molotov cocktail into the federal building, and the person that happened to run out of the building first was Greg Ferency, who was one of the 3 main people who was investigating Brad Holder, Patrick Westfall, Elvis Fields, Johnny Messer, all the Odinists and the ones in Rushville. So Greg Ferency was the first person to come out of the building after he threw the Molotov cocktail in there, and he shot at Greg Ferency. Greg Ferency shot at him. He got shot. Shane Meehan got shot and wounded, but left and drove himself to the hospital, and Greg Ferency got shot and killed. And that's the story. So Shane Meehan was arrested. He's been arrested for a long time. There was a long period of time where he was not considered competent, and I think this might be what we're getting into. I think he just was been found competent to stand trial.
And we were just talking about him yesterday on like whether we think he may or may not actually just take a plea at this point now that he's actually deemed competent, and will he just plea out? So Shibby brings up a point that this is why people have really like dug further into this Meehan character, because why would this Meehan do that to Ferency, who was investigating Odin? Plus, he's an ex-prison guard. So here's the thing: is again, it has been rumored that when Meehan went to the federal building, he was throwing the Molotov cocktails into Greg Ferency's office intentionally.
No.
I've never found, once again, any proof. That doesn't mean it's not true, but I have never found any proof that, 1, Greg Ferency's office was even hit, or 2, that it was done intentionally to Greg Ferency. And multiple agents went outside and engaged. Ferency was just one of them.
He was the first one.
Right. And happened to be the one who exchanged fire and was ultimately killed because of it. I don't know how anybody going there would have known that Ferency would have been the one to walk out.
Right.
There was many other people in this building, so it just seems to me, it just seems to me that I just think that it was coincidence.
Mm-hmm.
You know, not that I believe in a lot of coincidence, but I do. I just think that this one was. I don't think he went there with the intention of going after Ferency. If there is something that somebody has that can prove that wrong, by all means, feel free to tell me. Go ahead.
If he was going there after Ferency specifically, it wasn't necessary to have all those Molotov cocktails and all those firearms. It more sounds like he was wanting to just attack the whole building if he could.
Right. Well, and it also seems that they weren't really focused on this investigation anymore. Because remember, Murphy, even in his deposition, says that he had retired. He was retiring. He was
Well, no, that
he,
was that was like the day he retired.
he literally retired the day that Greg died. So it's not like this
Mhm.
group of 3 wasn't still actively like investigating this case. So
So let me ask this: what would the impact be? Why does the U.S. attorney need to cover anything up? He's still got grounds for death penalty, putting aside the mental illness issues, but the grounds for getting the death penalty federally are you kill a federal agent, and then there's probably, you said there's Molotov cocktails, so there's also grounds for death penalty under federal law under if you bomb or burn federal property and a death results. So are people saying they're trying to hide this fact, or they're not saying that at all, that hasn't been developed?
well, I think that the working theory in the Delphi sphere of things is that Greg Ferency, who's actively investigating this Odin angle, gets killed by Shane Meehan, who many believe was an Odinist. So like there's like, and so like it was all in the scheme of covering up that the Odins were involved in the Delphi murders and not allowing Greg Ferency to continue his investigation.
Okay.
But there's a few pieces for me personally, and like I've always said to everybody in chat, you guys can believe whatever you want to believe. You know, that's your God-given right. For me, I need to see proof that there was any intent to go there and attack Greg Ferency, number 1, and then 2, I cannot find anything that shows me that Meehan was an actual Odinist or practicing Norse paganist or whatever. You know, if you want to go with Andy Baldwin and Odinite, you know what I mean? Like I cannot find anything that says those 2 things are, I need more to be able to like to substantiate that theory. Otherwise, to me, I think you just have a guy who was pissed off, he was losing his fucking mind, and these were the people who were after him in his mind, and that's who he went and attacked. And Greg Ferency happened to be the officer that walked out. I mean, we see cops that are killed every day just for being cops. You know what I mean? So,
yeah,
but
I think if trial goes forward, it's going to be pretty clear whether there's any evidence of that or not. I mean,
right.
If there was a link to Odinism and whatnot, that's something prosecutors would want to show. That buttresses their case.
Like he purposely, if that were the case, something like he purposely killed him in order to prevent him from testifying, about a case he was investigating or something like that.
Right.
Or that he targeted a federal agent because the federal agent was investigating a particular group.
And he is part of that group.
Odinist.
Right.
Yeah. So that could even be a third ground as hate crime under federal law.
Yeah, I also agree. I just saw somebody, it just went by, like, why him? Why would it not be any of the other 2? Also, why would they not be out to kill the other 2?
Right.
By that I mean Click and Murphy. And like, yeah, they fucked with his job, with Click's job, but I don't think that was Odinist. I think that was Nick McClelland and Jerry Holman. I don't think that had anything to do with the Odinists. So, are you going to read this to us?
Yeah. All right. Let's go. Let's take a look at this. So this is, as Sluthy was saying, that Meehan has been deemed incompetent for a long time. Just very recently, within like the last couple of weeks, they've actually decided or deemed him competent. Bushi, do not go to the beginning. Just stay. Somebody in chat tell Bushi to just stay right where they are. Just stay here, Bushi. Yes. So Meehan worked for the at FCC from 2005 to 2017, and he ran for mayor in 2019. Murphy retired. Todd Click moved departments, and he ended up getting charged. So there's a whole nother case that has to do with Todd Click, because when Todd Click was actually testifying, they.
Well, wait a minute. Be more specific. After he testified at the 3-day hearings all about his investigation into the Odinists, all of a sudden, the job he'd been at for a while, now they're saying that he was filling out paperwork, but not really going to see these families. The timing of it all seemed very much like trying to dirty him up so he couldn't testify at trial, because he was absolutely going to if third-party suspects were allowed in.
Right. So this is the motion to strike the government's notice of intent to seek the death penalty. People in chat were asking when this happened. It happened July 7th of 2021. So defendant Shane Meehan by counsel moves this court to strike the government's notice of intent to seek the death penalty that they filed on November 18th. November 18th, the government filed a notice of intent to seek the death penalty against Shane Meehan, but this notice was filed 3 years and 4 months after the government filed its formal notice of intent not to seek the death penalty. So upon filing the no-seek in July of 2022, the government informed the court, Mr. Meehan, and his appointed counsel that the no-seek represented the government's quote-unquote final decision not to seek the death penalty. The government is not entitled to renege on its final decision not to seek the penalty. The Fair Administration of Justice does not countenance for this use of such ploys. The government's about-face seeking the death penalty after definitively stating that it would not violates the Constitution and the federal statutes and defies equitable principles. In every case, to address the government's attempt to revoke a no-seek, district courts have prohibited. They're trying to go with the death penalty because they want him to take the plea. I mean, let's be real.
Bitch, you took the words right out of my mouth. I was sitting here thinking, now that he's competent, they want to scare him.
Yeah.
It's not just this case. The current administration there's several federal cases that could be charged death penalty that initially weren't, that they've recently either not like this where they've changed their minds over such a long time, but they're in the last few months, several cases that could go death penalty, they filed notices of intent to seek the death penalty. It appears that there's been a policy implemented by the current administration to seek the death penalty wherever possible.
Thanks, Travis.
Okay, so DB's saying there's an executive order signed.
That's basically what Travis was saying.
Care about the no-seek. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so district courts have prohibited the government's reversal and struck the belated notice of intent to seek the death penalty. The government's attempt to revoke its decision not to seek the death penalty is unlawful for several reasons. First, the operative statute does not permit the government to seek the death penalty after filing a prior formal notice that the government would not seek the death penalty. At the very least, as a matter of the court's supervisory authority, it should prevent such a reversal. Second, the government waived its right to seek the death penalty and is stopped from seeking the death penalty because it informed the court and defense counsel that it would not seek the death penalty. Third, it would violate due process, equal protection, and the Eighth Amendment to permit the government to seek the death penalty. And finally, if the court construes the government's reversal as an amended notice, despite the government assuring the court that its prior decision was quote-unquote final, an amended notice is not permissible because the change is not supported by good cause. Travis?
What's the question?
I just wondered if you had any comments. There was no question. I just wanted to see if you had any comments before I went to the next one. Okay.
Nothing.
The government's reversal is particularly egregious. Go ahead. Sorry, Sleuthie.
So I guess my question would be, is the difference in this order and then this situation, like, are they basically, would it make sense for me to say that maybe the order applies to ones where they've not yet filed a notice saying they're not going to seek the death penalty, whereas here they already said they weren't, and now they're going back and trying to say they will? Or does it apply to everything? Oh, okay. So they're right.
Well, typically when there's a change, normally it's like that situation, even with the federal government, that young man that was involved in that shooting in Utah. They announced right away, we're going to be seeking the death penalty even before the person's caught. Timothy McVeigh, the Oklahoma bombing, was one of the first instances after they brought death penalty back on the table federally. And Clinton at the time announced justice will, be swift, and we're going to catch these people. It's going to be swift, and it's going to be the ultimate penalty. And, they charged McVeigh right away. But if there is a change from not seeking it, we're not going to seek it, like in this case, and then they are now going to seek it, it's usually because they found something to make it a stronger case for that.
Something new.
Yes. Some linkage that it's now a conspiracy, or something new, absolutely, that makes it even more egregious.
So I guess they would have to reply with that in their response. I could see that. If they came back and they were like, we've discovered new facts that make this eligible for the death penalty that we didn't know before when we said that we weren't going to seek it, then I could see that. But with the same facts, that doesn't seem right.
But you would think that, there's the time limitations on once somebody's charged, and it's different in different states, I would assume, I guess, but once somebody's charged, they can just go, okay, yeah, like now that we're about to go to trial, we're going to go ahead and seek the death penalty, but we've told you for 4 years that we're not.
Again, and it's awfully coincidental that this happens right when he's found competent. It's like now they think that he can understand the severity of what penalties he might be facing, and so maybe he'll plead out because he doesn't want to die.
I think one of the other motions that was filed today is for them they're actually fighting the fact that he's actually not, they want to say he's not competent. He's not competent, and they're trying to fight that and say that he's not, even though the state's saying
that's interesting.
I haven't read it yet, so I want to get there, but that's
okay.
So I think his defense team is saying, no, bullshit, he's actually not competent, and let him figure his shit out.
Oh, that's really interesting. Travis, isn't it the defense that would have to ask for a competency evaluation?
I haven't got there yet, so I don't want.
The defense can ask for one. So can the judge, and then usually the state only asks for one if the defense is making a temporary insanity plea, or yeah. And then, so in Indiana, I had asked at the time when different Indiana attorneys were popping on with different creators, with Teresa and also Bob. Big question I had was exactly that. What's the time limit for the state to file notice of intent to seek the death penalty in Indiana, and nobody knew. Even that public defender, really nice younger guy, that was on Bob's. He may have been on Teresa's also, and he's like, "Well, I don't really know." And it was because they never seek the death penalty in Indiana, but multiple juveniles defined under 17 as grounds to seek the death penalty. So they could have charged Richard Allen with that, but the gist of what I got was they just don't. But it didn't seem like they had a deadline. In
Well, that's fucked up.
Texas, in Texas, you have to give notice. It's like 90 days, but it's well known. It's got to be much, much longer than that, because once you file that notice of intent to seek the death penalty, it triggers many, many things. So you got to have somebody on the defense team who is death penalty qualified, whether the attorneys are retained or not. You've got to have somebody on there as part of that team, and the court will appoint somebody death penalty qualified. It just triggers many, many, many things, and not all of that can be accomplished in 90 days. One of the big thing it triggers is you have to get a mitigation specialist if you're defending the person, and we can talk about that later. But you've got to give plenty of notice. Was the case set for trial at all, or we don't know? This one, Meehan.
I honestly don't remember if they ever actually set it for trial, or if he was deemed incompetent before they even got that far.
Yeah, it seems like the big delay was he was deemed incompetent, and then they send you off for treatment to get you competent. And competency, in order to stand trial, is a pretty low bar, but it happens all the time. You have somebody and you'll see them in court, and it's clearly their way out of them, and they send them to what we call ASH, Austin State Hospital, and they medicate them and get them on meds and get them competent to come back so that they can stand trial. But just on this one last thing before you keep going on, clearly when you have death penalty on the table, we saw that in Kohlberger, that they lost the last gasp of emotions on the death penalty, and it transformed towards a plea. And so, when you have death on the table, that's a pretty strong motivator to get somebody to take a plea. But from what I've read in the last couple of months, they're filing notice of intent to seek the death penalty in many federal cases, and it doesn't really have anything to do with getting people to take a plea. It's kind of just a change of philosophy on what cases they're going to seek it. And some of the commentary, I haven't looked in it in depth, is that they're going to seek it in every case they possibly can. So if it's legally possible to seek it, they do it. And that's different than the way states handle it. It's up to each prosecutor in each county. And most larger counties, they have a committee. They review cases that are death penalty eligible and kind of make a determination. But ultimately it's up to the elected district attorney. This situation, federally, it just seems like it's an edict from on high, and they're removing whatever discretion the United States attorneys have in their jurisdiction. That's all I had on that. Hope that helped.
Okay. Okay, so the government's reversal is particularly egregious here because developments since the July 2022 no-seek have provided additional reasons not to seek the death penalty, not newfound reasons to seek the death penalty. In November of 2024, defense counsel, the government, and the court all agreed that Mr. Meehan was incompetent to stand trial. Oh, you know what? Yes, it was set. We talked about it. Yes, it was set.
Yeah.
He did have a trial date. And then, yes, it was back when Richard Allen was going to be going to trial like the same time frame.
Mm-hmm.
And they deemed him incompetent and booted Richard Allen's down the line. And the court all agreed that he was incompetent to stand trial. In October of 2025, the mental health evaluators determined that Meehan was severely mentally ill at the time of the crime. The government's own mental health evaluators have concluded that Mr. Meehan suffered from delusional disorder, a major mental disorder at the time of the offense, for which they now seek the death penalty. Contrary to the government's recent actions, Mr. Meehan's severe mental illness counsels against seeking the death penalty, not in favor. Moreover, the supposedly final decision not to seek the death penalty meant that the defense counsel strategized as if this were not a death penalty case because it was not. Revoking the no-seek would thus incurably prejudice defendant. Therefore, the court should join every district court to address this issue and strike the November 18th notice of intent to seek the death penalty and prohibit the government from seeking the death penalty. So here's your background. I
have to agree. I'll just say that. Like, I have to agree. I agree about the mentally ill, about there not being enough time. I agree with all of that. For what it's worth.
I'm with you. So yeah, it's definitely worth something to me. So background: the complaint filed on July 8th of 2021, and the indictment, because remember Ferency was killed on July 7th, 2021, and the indictment filed on January 19th, 2022, alleged that on the 7th, Meehan drove to the Terre Haute FBI resident agency and lobbed an incendiary device toward the building. FBI Task Force Officer Greg Ferency left the building apparently to retrieve something from his car, and Mr. Meehan, according to the complaint, shot him with a firearm. Officer Ferency returned fire, and FBI Special Agent Ryan Lindgren ran out of the building and engaged Mr. Meehan in a gun battle. Mr. Meehan was struck twice. Ferency later died from his injuries. So while Mr. Meehan was hospitalized in intensive care and heavily medicated on July 9th, the court held a hearing in Mr. Meehan's room in the intensive care unit. Jesus. The magistrate judge ordered that Meehan be detained. On August 13th of 2021, the court held an initial appearance, and at that hearing, counsel for Mr. Meehan pointed to his long history of head injuries and mental health issues, including a traumatic brain injury, Parkinson's disease, and I didn't know he had Parkinson's, and a seizure disorder, as well as inpatient mental health treatment for acute psychosis and paranoia, and prescriptions for major antipsychotics, including Seroquel and Haldol. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Oh, dear.
A 3-count indictment was issued on January 19th of 2022, and count 1 charged Mr. Meehan with premeditated murder of a federal officer, Officer Ferency, who was a task force officer for the FBI. Count 2 alleged the attempted arson of a federal property. Count 3 alleged a violation stating use of a firearm in relation to a crime of violence in which death results. The grand jury made special findings and a prerequisite for the possibility that the government might seek the death penalty. But on January 24th of 2022, the court held an initial appearance on the indictment.
Can you pause there? It mentions he's a task force officer. So is he a full-fledged FBI agent, or was he working with the FBI task force? Did it say up above?
He worked with the Terre Haute Police Department.
Gotcha. Okay. I got you.
I'm trying to remember, so I want to give you accurate information. So if somebody remembers this differently than me,
that's why they mentioned task force officer, which happens all the time. So every larger community, they'll task force on different things. Bank robberies, they'll task force they'll supply local police agencies will supply officers to the FBI task force. And then when that happens, they get deputized as federal agents under the FBI, and then also usually as they get deputized as a federal marshal in the event that they have to go look for somebody as part of the task force. So yeah, once you're deputized, you're a federal officer, and if you harm or kill a federal officer, then it's federal jurisdiction. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, don't apologize. No, I'm good with that. Yeah. So yeah, I think he was like 30 years on Terre Haute and was a detective, and then on the FBI task force. So, okay, so on April 25th of 2022, the court held a status conference. Counsel for Mr. Meehan asked the court to reschedule a deadline for the government to file notice of intent to seek the death penalty. Counsel pointed out that it was not possible to move forward without knowing whether the case was a death penalty case or not, explaining to the court that death penalty cases are different. It's not just that they're more complicated. It's not just that they take longer. It's not a murder case on steroids. They are quantitatively and qualitatively different, in part because of the amount of investigation that has to be done is more, but is also different. So counsel for the government argued that the process was complicated and completely out of this table's prosecutor's hands. After hearing from the government and defense, the court set the status conference for June 9th of 2022. At the June 9th, 2022 status conference, the court did set a deadline for the government to inform defense counsel of the local U.S. attorney's recommendation on the death penalty. The court set the next status conference for July 28th, ordering that by the time of that conference, the U.S. state's attorney to have either notified defense counsel that it's going to recommend the expedited no-seek, or have made a firm commitment to a date on which defense counsel can come in and make the mitigation presentation. So on July 11th, 2022, the government filed a notice stating it would not seek the death penalty. Though the government is not required to and did not state the reasons why it rejected the death penalty, its decision was clearly correct. Mr. Meehan is unlike persons who are generally charged with the death penalty. He has no criminal history. He was an extraordinary father to incredible children. He taught them good values, coached their sports teams, and helped them navigate the troubles of childhood and adolescence. He was gainfully employed throughout his adult years. His law-abiding nature is perhaps best exemplified by his decorated history as a prison guard, first in the Indiana Department of Corrections, and then at the United States Penitentiary in Terre Haute, where he served on the death row unit. He was medically retired from the BOP at the age of 40 for medical and mental health reasons. It will take significant investigation into Mr. Meehan's background, including his medical and mental health history, to understand how Mr. Meehan came to find himself charged with killing a TFO officer in an unprovoked attack. What is known at this point is that Mr. Meehan suffered a series of documented head injuries, beginning with his participation in high school football. There are literally thousands of pages of medical and mental health records that predate the offense, all of which were shared with the government prior to the no-seek decision. Mr. Meehan's bizarre presentation was documented by the government when witness after witness described to law enforcement his odd behavior prior to the offense. The government could find no rational motive or explanation for this shooting because there is none. Simply, this is not a death penalty case. On July 28th of 2022, at the status conference, the court wanted to confirm that the filing indicating that the government would not seek the death penalty represents the final decision having been made and approved at all necessary levels at Main Justice. And the government informed the court that it did represent the final decision of Main Justice. At the hearing, it was generally acknowledged that the government's announcement that it would not seek the death penalty was a game changer. Discussing reciprocal discovery, defense counsel informed the court, obviously with the July 11th filing, stating that the government would not seek the death penalty. We have sort of rejiggered our position on where we are and where our investigation is going on the case. The court summarized the discussion perfectly, stating that the government's decision on the death penalty is a game changer, creating a different landscape. The court then set the trial date of May 8th, 2023, scheduling a non-capital trial. That's why I said I do remember that it was scheduled like right around the time. It was going to be the same time as Richard Allen's. Okay, so finding that Mr. Meehan is incompetent to stand trial. So prior to the scheduled trial date on February 21st of 2023, defense counsel filed a motion to determine Meehan's mental competency, which the court granted on March 2nd. Defense counsel also filed a motion to continue the trial date, which the court also granted. A forensic evaluation was provided to the court. The examiner acknowledged that Mr. Meehan was mentally ill, but determined that he was competent to stand trial. But on April 5th of 2024, defense counsel provided notice pursuant to Rule 12.2 of the Federal Rules of Criminal Procedure of an insanity defense. Additional competency litigation ensued and additional evaluations were submitted. In October of 2024, the BOP evaluator determined that Meehan was not competent to stand trial. So then the examiner, the same psychologist who had determined in 2023 that Mr. Meehan was competent, attributed his decompensation to active symptoms of psychosis. At a competency hearing on November 25th of 2024, the parties agreed that Mr. Meehan was not competent to proceed. The court found Meehan incompetent. Following the hearing, Meehan was returned to BOP for restoration proceedings. And then on April 25th of 2025, BOP asked for more time to conduct restoration proceedings, opining that at that time, Meehan remains not competent to proceed in his case. The court granted that request and extended the evaluation period through August 29th of 2025. Okay, so on August 12th of 2025, the BOP informed the parties and the court that in their opinion, Meehan's competency had been restored and that the BOP was thus beginning its evaluation of Mr. Meehan's sanity at the time of the offense. On November 7th of 2025, BOP provided the court with a forensic evaluation of Meehan's sanity at the time of the offense conduct. The evaluator opined that Mr. Meehan was sane, but that he suffered from a major mental illness, delusional disorder at the time of the offense. As of the date of this filing, since Mr. Meehan was found incompetent, there has been no judicial decision that he is competent. Okay, so just the medical evaluators that are coming out and saying, yeah, okay, here, yeah, he's good to go. But he did have this delusional disorder at the time that he killed Ferency. So the government's reversal of its final decision. So on November 18th, the government announced its intent to renounce its final decision that it would not seek the death penalty. The shift was not the result of any intervening change in the law or discovery of new evidence. Indeed, the developments since the government's 2022 no-seek provided additional reasons not to seek the death penalty. In November of 2024, the defense, the government, and the court all agreed that he was incompetent. And in October of 2025, the mental health evaluators determined that Mr. Meehan was severely mentally ill at the time of the crime. The decision to reverse course and seek the death penalty, despite the only changes in the case being mounting evidence of Mr. Meehan's significantly compromised mental health, including at the time of the crime, resulted solely from the change in administrations and corresponding policy changes.
There you go.
There you go, yeah. So on January 20th of 2025, the day the new administrator assumed office, the president issued an executive order, quote, restoring the death penalty and protecting public safety. Among other things, that executive order explicitly stated, the Attorney General shall, where consistent with applicable law, pursue federal jurisdiction and seek the death penalty regardless of other factors for every federal capital crime involving the murder of a law enforcement officer. Okay. But I still, isn't there still you can't give the death penalty to mentally ill people?
I
Correct.
feel like that's, yeah,
Yeah.
you should not be able to do that.
That's
Well, isn't
fairly
that a
recent. It's not that long ago. They said if, um, well, uh, mentally challenged, so under an IQ of 70, you can't charge death penalty. And
So you can have mental illness. You just can't be
and
mentally
then
challenged.
so there's what's the official? So we don't use the R word anymore. That's my generation. But
Right.
and not mentally handicapped. That's what Annie was saying. What's the word? Mentally challenged. We so that came in, and you'd get school records for that, which is different here. Mental illness. It's unconstitutional to charge death penalty of somebody that is established as mentally ill. But they don't have to be legally insane at the time of the offense, but mentally ill. It's in a state of flux. The big question is, and last I recall looking into it, is if you become mentally ill while you're waiting to be executed, which, could be 5, 10, 15, 20 years after the trial. And I don't think the Supreme Court has ruled that it's unconstitutional to execute somebody who's mentally ill. Even if everybody agrees they're now mentally ill. That's not going to be that strong of grounds, but that's why they're putting that in there, is because of the change in law. Let's see if they cite to something.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
apparently now it is an intellectual disability is like
Thank you.
the word now. You're welcome.
I don't. Yeah, I
Yeah.
can't keep up with the politically correct stuff. I say the wrong thing all the time.
No, I used to work for a place and in the name, it was, I won't say what the name of it was, but part of the name was it mentally handicapped? I think it was mentally handicapped. But that was shit. That was back in, I think,
Yeah, I know.
2008. It's probably changed 100 times since then.
So Wolf Spirit asks, with all of his medical issues, how did he become a prison guard? So I think that he was fine when he became the prison guard. He was actually medically retired because of all of his mental issues.
Right. Then he tried to run for mayor.
God, I know.
Then he tried to run for mayor, bro. He was going to be the mayor.
They realized he was having these mental issues. They were like, okay, dude, like you can't work here anymore.
Right. So he's like, so I'm going to be the mayor.
It's
just like Shane Evans. He one day was like, you know what? I'm going to be the mayor today.
And I know. So that fucking guy.
And they made him the mayor. And then they made him a judge.
Well, no, then they made him a prosecutor.
Oh, then they made him a prosecutor. Then they made him a judge, and he didn't prosecute anything.
Right. Now he's the fucking judge. Anyway, that's a whole nother live. Okay, so on February 5th, 2025, the day after Pam Bondi was confirmed as the Attorney General, she issued a memorandum to the attorneys in the Department of Justice, reviving the federal death penalty and lifting the moratorium on federal executions. Among other things, that memorandum, following the president's executive order, states, absent significant mitigating circumstances, federal prosecutors are expected to seek the death penalty in cases involving the murder of a law enforcement officer.
Okay, but what happens when they've already said they're not going to? That's what I want to know.
So, like, you just backdate it? Like, this is all, let's just do it. You know what I mean? Like, okay.
And also, how long do you have to do it?
Like, going forward, this should be your order. Like, now just find anybody that...
It does sound expensive.
Okay.
So, like, does it matter if it was 6 years prior? What about the people? So if you can say you're not going to go for the death penalty, and then one day you can be like, oh, there's this executive order, so now I'm going to. Where does that end? Does it end the day of trial, where you can decide that? Does it apply to people who've already been convicted of life? Can you? Well, I guess you couldn't do that. I guess you couldn't retry
Now,
them. But like, where does it end?
Well,
Well, I
it would
guess-
end, assuming there's no specific hard rule in federal system on they must file a notice of intent 90 days before trial, whatever it is. So assuming there's not anything like that, it's going to go judge by judge. And so, Sleuthie, your hypothetical, they're a day before trial, and this thing came out. I've read ahead here. It's going to be up to the judge, but they're going to say, yeah, we want to file notice of intent to seek the death penalty, and we're set next week. Judge is going to say, no, we're going. Sorry.
If I was the judge here, because from how I understand it, this judge has to also basically co-sign the fact that he's now competent, right? Before it's actually considered he's competent.
Yes.
Okay, so if I were this
he's got to
judge,
adopt the Board of Prisons, BOP's findings.
okay, so let's say this judge comes in and he says, I agree, he is now competent to stand trial. I feel like it would be reasonable to be like, if you're going to now seek the death penalty, we're talking, I mean, it's been years, man. I would be like, now we're talking about pushing this out potentially more years for you to prepare for something like that. How do we know he'll be competent at the end of that? Like, is there a window of
Right.
competency? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree with you. And so what they've argued so far in this pleading is that it's discretionary with the court, that they've pointed out other courts have used their discretion to deny a change from a no seek to a seek. And they're asking the court to exercise its discretion and strike it.
I would strike it. I don't really know how competency works, but I could imagine that it would ebb and flow, or could ebb and flow.
Yeah, it's a matter of what medications they're on and if they're taking it and all of that, right? And then, I'm no expert in that, but I know, I know medication can become, even though it's effective initially, it's Seroquel and Haldol, but that it can eventually lose effectiveness, and that, they put people on different things, and then it's a constant struggle with the dosage and on and on and on and on. So,
And that's out here, let alone in prison.
yes. Yeah.
Mhm.
So, yeah.
Sorry, Teresa, I know you have a lot more pages to go. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. No, don't even. Nuh-uh, I'm good. Okay, so in her memorandum, also directed the Capital Review Committee to review no-seek decisions in all pending capital eligible cases charged between January 20th of 2021 and January 19th of 2025. This group shall reevaluate no-seek decisions and whether additional capital charges are appropriate. The review required by this paragraph shall be completed within 120 days. So in April of 2025, the government contacted the defense counsel about the possibility of the death penalty. And in July of 25, defense counsel presented to the Capital Case Review Committee. Throughout this time, the government and BOP agreed with defense counsel that Mr. Meehan was incompetent. It was not until August of 2025 that the BOP opined that his competency had been restored. So the evaluators have also recognized that Meehan was mentally ill at the time of the crime. So on November 18th, the government filed a notice of intent to seek the death penalty against Meehan. One key point about the timing is that Meehan had trial set for May of 2023 before the change in administration. The trial date not go forward because Mr. Meehan was incompetent to stand trial. Had the trial gone forward, or had Meehan been competent to plead guilty and decided to plea, then his case would not have been pending at the time of the attorney general. This is what you were talking about, Stacey.
Right. Yeah.
And Meehan would not have been subject to the directives in that memo or the January 20th, 25 executive order. Had Meehan been competent, undersigned counsel would have resolved the case via a plea or trial prior to January 20th of 2025.
Right.
So this is the legal argument. Okay. So for several reasons, the court should strike the government's November 18th notice of intent to seek the death penalty with prejudice to refiling any additional such notice under this code. That is what every court faced with this issue has done. Allowing the government to seek the death penalty after a formal no-seek notice violates the governing statute. The government has waived its ability to seek the death penalty against Meehan and has stopped from seeking the death penalty against him. Seeking the death penalty after a formal no-seek notice also violated Mr. Meehan's due process, equal protection, and Eighth Amendment rights. And do you agree with that, Travis?
Well, so the doctrine of judicial estoppel, which is what they're arguing here, is that one party cannot represent it's going to do something, have the other party. So let's just use this case. So the defendant is saying the prosecution, the government represented that it was not going to seek the death penalty, and we relied on that. We relied on that, and that we didn't go out and get all these other experts. We didn't do this, we didn't do that. And under that doctrine, even in a criminal case, you're stuck with the deals that you make if the other side relied upon it. So yeah, I do agree with that.
Okay. And if the government construes the notice as an amended notice, the government should not be permitted to amend its notice because there is no good cause. Indeed, all that has happened in this case since the government's no-seek is that the BOP has determined that Meehan is seriously mentally ill. Moreover, in 2022, the court set deadlines to ensure the court and defense counsel would be informed about the schedule for deciding whether to seek the death penalty, announcing the intention to seek the death penalty 3 years after announcing its final decision not to. Does not comply with those deadlines. Finally, allowing the government to reverse course and seek the death penalty at any time creates a completely unworkable system wherein every capital eligible case must be staffed as a capital case until a plea is accepted or a trial is started.
Yeah.
So that last thing there kind of says it, what Sleuthy was saying, you know, it's unworkable. But in this case, in the factual background that you started with, the defense asked the court to set a deadline, which the court was willing to do. And then the government, prior to that deadline, said, yeah, we can't make the decision at this table, meaning it's got to go to the death review committee in Washington. That's what he meant by that phrase. We can't make the decision here at this table, meaning council table. And but they did get the time from the court, and then they announced it prior to that deadline. And then, so apparently under federal rules, you can ask the court for a deadline, and it's up to counsel, which prevents somebody from going in, the prosecutor, and the day before trial and saying, "Oh, we changed our minds." Can't do that. And that's what they're pointing out to the court, that to do so would be completely unworkable.
Okay, so the governing statute does not permit the government to reverse its no-seek a formal representation to the court of the government's decision not to seek the death penalty. Okay, it's getting pretty repetitive. Although the statute does not explicitly require formal notice of the government's decision not to seek the death penalty, the DOJ believes such notice is required by the spirit of the code, in particular, in order to relieve district courts of their obligation to comply with special requirements for appointed counsel in capital cases, as required by that statute, including the appointment of learned counsel. Okay, in this case, the court required the government to keep the court and defense counsel informed about whether this would be a death penalty case, recognizing that whether or not the government...
So that's a death penalty qualified lawyer in the federal system.
Right. So if you have like these attorneys and they're not actually death penalty qualified and you just switch it around, now what happens?
You have to find death penalty qualified.
Yeah, but even assuming they are death penalty qualified, you would have to, now you're going to have to allocate money for experts on litigation and so forth.
Which goes through your whole life. Their whole life.
Yes, and then if there's mental health issues, that's more experts that are part of that mitigation team.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of this that's just repeated on and just different legal terms on why they shouldn't do it.
Yeah. But here's judicial estoppel. That's the doctrine there that it's going to explain what I said a minute ago, that even though the rule may not say that, the conduct of counsel making a representation, and here it's a lot of times it's not in front of the court. A lot of times it's letters. Dear Mr. Prosecutor, based on your statement that your review of X, Y, and Z, we're not going to ask for discovery of that, or we're not going to review that or have our expert look at it based on your representation that it didn't contain anything significant. And then it turns out it's highly significant. Cases have been reversed on that.
That's what DB said too. Like the majority of these DP notices will get struck either now, before trial, on appeal, and it's just going to cost a bunch of money for no reason.
Mm-hmm.
I think if they've already filed that there is a no-seek, I just don't see why change it. Okay, so I don't think I'm just kind of skimming through the rest of this. I don't see anything that's not just repetitive of exactly what we've talked about, unless you guys are very interested in the law, which I know Travis is.
Yeah. So, eventually this thing, the judge is either going to strike it or not. And then also assuming that whoever the doctors were at the BOP who did the evaluation and determined competent, assuming the court goes along with that, then it will get set for trial. And if it does get set for trial, I can assure everybody, if there's evidence, they dug immediately with that type of attack. They dug in immediately to determine a motive.
Right.
And so they would have looked at all of his social media, phone, computer, all of that. And they're also looking to see if there's anybody that's involved or that somebody that may have known something but didn't say anything that could have prevented it. We just know that happened. And so if, there's any of that, one, I think the government's going to put that on because it helps them. But people just need to understand that you've got somebody with serious mental issues and they can say, yeah, it was because he was going after this particular group, the Odinist or whatever, and I'm an Odinist. So that'll be in there, but you got an equal description that, he threw one Molotov cocktail and then it sounded totally coincidental to me, even from the defendant's perspective. The agent walked outside the building, was going to fetch something from his car and just happened to be out there, unfortunately. And that's the way I understood it when you read it, Teresa.
Mm-hmm.
That's my understanding too. That's going to get clipped now, DB.
If there is evidence of a linkage, it's going to come out in that trial. And then just people may not know it's a federal trial. There's no cameras. There's no nothing. Never has been, probably never will be for quite a while. So that's just the way they roll in federal court. They don't allow camera.
Okay, so this is like I said, the other one became kind of just repetitive. So essentially just going over the legal reasons on why the judge should not allow them to seek the death penalty. So this document is a joint status report for the counsel of Meehan and the U.S. attorneys. This is respectfully filed this joint status report in response to the court's order given during the November 19th telephonic status conference. So since November 25th of 2024, Meehan has been committed to the custody of the Attorney General for competency restoration and other diagnostic proceedings. Those proceedings have concluded and the staff at the Federal Bureau of Prisons have issued a forensic evaluation to the court. Mr. Meehan is awaiting transport back to the district for further proceedings. On November 18th, the United States filed a notice of intent to seek the death penalty. On the 19th, the court conducted a telephonic status conference to address scheduling and other matters. During the call, the parties indicated their shared belief that the February trial date was not realistic given the expected pretrial litigation regarding Meehan's competency. In addition, the defense indicated its intent to file a motion to strike the NOI. So on November 20th, the court granted the defense's unopposed motion for extension of time to object to the BOP's forensic evaluation. In the same order, the court granted the parties' joint motion for a briefing schedule regarding litigation. The parties continue to agree that the current trial date is not realistic and respectfully advise the court that defense will soon file an unopposed motion to continue. Okay, so we won't get a trial in February. The parties further agree that the disposition of the defense's motion to strike the NOI and any litigation regarding Meehan's competency will be determinative of the remaining course of this prosecution. For that reason, the parties jointly submit that any detailed case management plan with pretrial filing deadlines will be premature until the defense's pending motion to strike the NOI and any competency litigation has been resolved. The parties jointly recommend that the court set a status conference at the conclusion of the pending litigation. Okay, so there's that one. And then the other one is just the defendant's motion to continue the pretrial conference. So the defendant and his attorneys move the court to continue the file pretrial conference and trial date presently set in this case. The pretrial conference is scheduled for January 2026. Trial on February 9th. They're agreeing that that's not going to work. So both sides are going to, essentially, the defense is going to request a continuance, and the state is not going to object to it. Now, the judge can just say, too bad, so sad, we're still going to trial. But if he's
Mhm.
not, if the competency is up in the air, then I don't know. I guess we'll have to see what happens with that. So that's the new docs for Meehan.
Hmm.
I don't know. It's tough. It's tough. Like he has all this mental illness, and if he doesn't, he has no criminal history and no issues before anything, and they're saying that he literally is in psychosis and goes out and does this. What do you do?
I think he did have issues before, though.
Oh yeah, he'd been having issues. That's why they forced him to retire.
Right.
Travis is not an Odinist, you guys.
Oh my gosh.
Well, he said, "Yeah, I'm an Odinist," and whatever he said on there, and I'm like, yeah. Oh yeah, woman. I think she'll definitely pay attention to it. But here's the thing: is I don't. This should just be a plea. This is not something that should go to trial. I don't think that this man is saying he didn't do it. The problem is nobody understands why he did it. What
Right.
happened to make him do this? This isn't like, that's why I don't believe, and I know I said this at the beginning of talking about these documents, I don't believe that this dude, Shane Meehan, went to this federal building to kill Greg Ferency. But
Yeah. Oh, fuck. Yeah, I don't really either.
so I just think a plea deal, get the dude whatever medical help he needs. But, it's Indiana. They'll pump him full of Haldol and let him bang his head on the wall a few times a day. That's how they roll.
Is that the way you read the background facts that in the first motion, the motion to strike the death penalty election, that
Yeah.
the agent
He
was walking
essentially,
out of the building to retrieve something from his vehicle, encountered?
yes, encountered Meehan. Meehan shoots him as he's throwing these Molotov cocktails into the federal building. Other agents come out and engage in gunfire and shoot Meehan a couple of times. He survives, and now here we are. Great, and Ferency doesn't. I just don't. I mean, I don't know. You tell me that this guy went there and waited for Greg Ferency just to happen to walk out of his car, which also
Right.
makes the whole part of the theory that's been spread across social media was that Meehan was throwing the Molotov cocktails into Ferency's office intentionally.
Right.
So,
Like I said, I don't think he really cared who he hit, and I don't think that it was one person that he was going to kill.
right. An article I just read said Ferency was shot point blank. That's pretty much what the background in that motion to strike says too, is that he just walked out to his car and Meehan just shot him. And then another agent came out and started shooting. I was always under the impression that it was Ferency that exchanged gunfire with him, but apparently I was wrong. So,
Yeah, no, that's what was said before.
yeah.
That
So,
was
no,
definitely
yeah.
said before.
So whatever social media messages that the defendant made.
Okay, so I'm not losing my mind here.
Is he breaking up for you?
He is, yeah. All Eyes
Okay.
and DB both said, like early reports said that Ferency returned fire, and DB said Ferency did shoot back.
Yeah. what I
Yeah,
thought.
that's what I remember. I thought they exchanged fire, but according to his attorneys, another agent came out and shot him twice. So,
Well, maybe that's who ultimately hit him, but well,
that doesn't mean that he didn't fire. It's true.
also
know.
who knows if one or the other. I mean, if he was shot twice, technically both of them could have hit him. I would assume that they are shooting the same thing, the same round. You know what I mean? So it would be hard to tell.
Right. All right, well,
I mean,
that's
then he
interesting.
drove himself to the hospital.
He did. Yeah.
Like,
He was like, oh my gosh, I'm shot. I should go to the hospital now.
Like, I wonder what like when he got there, like, and they said, "Oh my gosh, what happened?" And he's like, "I got shot." Like, I wonder how that conversation went. Like, did he say,
I
"I
like
shot
that
a cop and I got shot"?
I
Like,
got, I was shooting at these cops down, by that federal building over yonder, and
over yonder,
somebody returned some fire, and they got me a couple times.
vote for me for mayor.
I think that it's very possible that Ferency could have hit him once, twice. The other cop could have hit him once, twice. They both could have shot. It was always reported that Ferency did do shooting. That's what I've always heard up until reading this document with you guys tonight. So, yeah, I would imagine they have it all on video. That's why I'm like, this shouldn't even go to trial. This is a plea. This is a plea. This is the epitome of a plea deal case. Like that, it should be done. Said and done. Go put the guy away, but hopefully in a place that he can get some fucking help. But that's not how Indiana works. So,
especially if he has like Parkinson's.
And if
like,
it does go to trial,
go ahead, Travis.
If it does go to trial, the government's going to put in all of those communications that he had leading up to that date and that date, because it's going to show what? It's going to show he was sane and competent, knew what he was doing.
Didn't his wife say that he had been having problems?
Oh yeah.
No, he's not too young for Parkinson's. I had a patient that was like 32 and had Parkinson's, and it was fucking sad, man. It's real sad. I mean, it's sad when anybody gets it, but
that's my sister has Lewy body dementia with Parkinson's.
Oh, it's terrible.
So, okay, well, I'm gonna wrap this up because I think I'm still in charge of cooking dinner.
Yeah,
now it's pretty late.
Shoot,
I'm gonna
type from what I understand. Then there's early onset, and then there's traumatically induced. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Which his could be. His absolutely could be.
Could be, absolutely.
Issues.
Yeah. Oh, they seem to be relying heavily on a lot of these head injuries and stuff. So
he said that his attorney said there's like thousands of documents based on the fact that he's had major issues for a long time.
Right.
Michael J. Fox, Parkinson's. Yep. I think he was pretty young too. Okay.
I think so.
So I'm gonna do some editing to this video. So just be aware of that. I'll do that after I make dinner. And
yeah, go make dinner so your husband doesn't.
Yeah, right.
Again.
Travis, thank you always for all of your law information and just even for joining us today in this. I don't even know what the heck we had happen. But I thank you for joining us.
It was a party. Thanks for coming to the party, Travis.
Yeah. I might cut that out, DB. No, I probably won't. But go, everybody, thank you guys for being here. As always, I know you have 1,000 other places that you can spend your time, and you choose to spend your time here with us, and we love you for it. Go enjoy the rest of your Monday. We will see you for a solid Delphi Live tomorrow with Sleuthy Goosey, All Eyes, and Andrea Burkhart here to answer any Delphi questions that you could possibly come up with, and not theory, factual things that we actually know, or timeline purpose type of thing, or court documents, that kind of thing. So go enjoy the rest of your Monday, and we'll see you all mañana.
Travis, say love you, bye.
Love you, bye. Come on, Travis.
Say it, Travis. Love you, bye.
He's like, fuck no. Out of here.
He's gonna do it. He unmuted. Say it. Say it, Travis.
Long. See you soon.
See you tomorrow. All right. Bye, guys.
Do you dare to follow me down? Head into the unknown. Down the rabbit hole. the unknown.